Well, hi folks, welcome to the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2026 show. In today's episode, we break down yet another gripping Super 8's clash, right, between England and New Zealand at Colombo. New Zealand looked in control, I think, for the larger parts of the game. They had solid contributions from Tim Seifert, Glenn Phillips, that sort of helped them post, I'd say, competitive 159 for 7, a spin-friendly surface, right? So you'd expect that. But England, right, just sort of came out of syllabus and chased it down thanks to a lot of contributions again from Will Jacks. Rachin Ravindra again, bowled another crucial spell, but it clearly wasn't enough. Rehan Ahmed joined Will Jacks and they sort of finished the job with 3 balls to spare. I have someone very special joining me, Anuj, a very talented sports journalist and someone who has done like an amazing body of work over the course of so many years. Anush, thank you so much for joining me today. And let's first get your thoughts on how the World Cup has been treating you, right? It's been like a seesaw, some very interesting matches. India's had a mixed bag so far, but we're keeping our optimism as high as possible. But at large, what have you liked of the World Cup itself?
Yeah, thank you for having me first of all, and hope you're doing well too. And in general, the World Cup has been really good. I didn't think that some T20 World Cup could top what we saw in West Indies and USA 2 years ago. With different conditions and everything. But yeah, this World Cup has still lived up to the expectations. Nepal almost coming close and beating. Uh, England on a very good pitch that should have suited England actually, and then Australia getting knocked out in the group stages. So yeah, and there is enough advertisement for the fact that any World Cup should not have just 10 teams like it has happened for the last two editions of the ODI World Cup. It is just you just like people, the associate nations take pride in getting their representation on such a high level, and that pride helps them put out performances like this. And especially talking about the Mumbai crowd, the Nepal games were just incredible. The passionate support. Already Wankhede is known to have a buzzing support and getting behind the teams no matter if India is playing or not. But the Nepal games just took it to the next level, and they deserved a win. But yeah, it has been absolutely brilliant that and yeah, the uh, I was doubtful about the Sri Lanka leg, but as you mentioned, the Sri Lanka leg games have been really good, like on uh, pitches that turn, like New Zealand have really teams like England and New Zealand have really understood what kind of teams to play. Like I loved England's idea of bringing Rehan Ahmed yesterday because they realized there is no point playing three pacers on a pitch where it's turning so much. So yeah, man, and New Zealand are just flexing their muscles with those four spinners and Rachin Ravindra coming and picking up 4 wickets against Sri Lanka. So yeah, and good. Uh, uh, what do you say? Good this, but I am expecting the next leg to be more of a six hitting competition because it is at Wankhede and Eden Gardens. So I don't expect you know I expect a very high scoring and probably the highest score chased in the history of T20 World Cups to happen. Let's see. But yeah, I have really enjoyed the Sri Lanka leg also.
Yeah, I think this World Cup truly delivering, right, and firing on all cylinders itself. But Anush, let's probably start off our discussion with the England versus New Zealand match, right, that happened yesterday. And your
Yeah.
first impressions, did it again feel like a typical Colombo scrap where, spin and temperament sort of mattered more than power hitting? At least both teams sort of gave us a showcase of that, right?
Yeah, and I tweeted this after the Sri Lanka game that uh, if Sri Lanka have ever seen Indian cricket off late, they should have known that when you win the toss, you never give New Zealand a chance to put runs on the board, especially if it is spinning, because then they just have a plethora of spinners that they will unleash on you, and then it is just a spin choke. You will not even realize that you are in the slow death, and that is exactly what happened with Sri Lanka. They had the chance, they won the toss, they had the chance, but they thought that we will use the Australia template where we chased 180, but that was again a different pitch and different situation. So again, the same thing, when New Zealand won the toss and opted to bat first, I really thought that, unless they can like get restricted to 120 or 140, anything about that, and New Zealand have enough in the tank, I felt. So yeah, that shows just how incredible the chase has been and against the odds.
Exactly against the odds, and even looking at from a very England perspective, Anuj, do you think this is probably one of their better, complete performances of the Super 8s, despite it, sort of being a dead rubber for them? They've already registered their place in the semi-finals, but just then again putting up a performance like this does a world of good for their confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that there is a slim chance of the World Cup semi-final and final both shifting outside of India if Pakistan qualify. So you always have that, what you say? You always have that confidence in the back of your mind that we played three matches on pitches that turn, and we are historically known as a team who doesn't understand spin. Especially Harry Brook has had his own issues with spin for a long time in tests and everything. So uh, to debunk that myth that England will be exposed on such tracks, they can only survive on flat tracks. So that was really heartening for England, from England's sake. That uh, as Nasir or Michael Atherton or someone mentioned in the post match yesterday, that they had still not got the perfect game, but they have got it now. So uh, that this they really needed that, and I still feel that playing South Africa in Kolkata or playing India in Wankhede, England will always choose Wankhede, especially Josh Butler, in that the form that he is in. He will always want his comfort zone, that is Wankhede. Wankhede has always given him, and India have slipped up in the past. And the issue with Wankhede as an Indian fan, and the good thing as a neutral fan, is that it gives an equal chance to uh, both teams, and that is exactly what happened in 2016. Everybody wanted, like, everybody thought 192 is enough, but then if you have the power, then anything is chaseable in the last 4 overs. Even 70 in the last 4 overs is chaseable. So that is there, and a batting lineup which has overturned at number 8. You just never know.
Yeah, England has really turned up the heat, right, this World Cup. Although a lot of us were questioning, hey, how did this team, sort of make it to the Super 8s on the back of some very scratchy performances? They're still showing, right? Sometimes winning it is very important, not the aesthetics of it as well. But again, Anush, for you, when you look at New Zealand, do you think somewhere they just sort of let a semi-final spot, slip through their own hands in this situation? But because now they're going to have to depend on, how the Pakistan versus Sri Lanka match goes on, and somewhere they were in control, right, for the better part of the match. So when they look back in hindsight, a lot of regrets maybe at how things played out.
Yeah, possibly the first regret would be that, if you are like 122 for 2 in 13 overs, you are possibly looking at 180 uh, minimum. And 180 on that pitch would have been like what South Africa did to India. 187 on an Ahmedabad black soil pitch, which was absolutely, 40 runs above par, I would say. So that would have completely taken England out of the game. But yeah, they lost their way. You can say they lost their way, or England kind of understood that there is no point bowling Sam Curran with his cutters or Archer with his this. It is better to give it off to the spinners. Let them spin as much as possible. If you observed, he didn't even bring back his pacers for the last 2 overs. He just continued with, and I think New Zealand could have taken a leaf from that. That the way Rehan and Adil Rashid were turning the ball away from the right handers and to the bigger boundary. I personally think after going for 21 in his 2 overs, Santner lost some belief in Ish Sodhi. It is not possible that you will give Glenn Phillips this 18th over when 42 is needed of 3. when you have 2 overs of your leg spinner left, and there are like two right handers, so leg spinner will turn it away from them and to the bigger side. So it is again everything was in favor of Ish Sodi bowling, or or whatever you tried in the last over with Matt Henry, that slower balls into the pitch and make the batter hit to the bigger side. That could have been the other idea at in the 18th over, but they kind of, you can say, choked only because giving Glenn Phillips the 18th over was really the hammer blow for them, because they even Will Jack said after the match that they had realized they had to win this matchup if they had to get ahead in the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of valid points there that we will discuss again through the course of our discussion itself. But our live chat again going on to point some valid things. Palash going on to say that I said earlier, England are second favourites after India to win. Think they've shown that after these close games, the clutch kind of things they've done have been really great. Also, going on to add quickly here that hopefully Sri Lanka wins or at least doesn't lose big today, right? Anyways, we have quite the interesting match on cards nonetheless. And yeah, horrible form of Butler continues this World Cup. Any particular reasons? I'd probably save this for later, Anuj, but if you just again had to share your thoughts on what has not been working for Butler, a lot of his weaknesses just coming to the forefront that, like, previously weren't really like challenged or taken by oppositions as seriously, now getting exposed.
Yeah. So yesterday there was a footage where they were showing all his dismissals, and what one thing I have realized for of Butler, when he was with MI as well, I observed him very closely, and then he had his peak with Rajasthan. Whenever he plays at his best, he waits for the ball to come to him, and in all his dismissals you will see that he's trying to make things happen. Even yesterday, like, there was no need to start walking at Lockie Ferguson before he delivered the ball. So Lockie Ferguson cleverly just shortened his length, and then that extra bounce meant that the ball got big on him, and he tried to fend it away and got an edge. So I think it is more to do with his mental side of things than uh, nothing else. He's just even other two dismissals, he's just trying to hit the ball on the up with no footwork, and just hoping that and I think that such a form can be corrected only on pitches like Eden Gardens and Wankhede. So he's heading in the right direction, but now let's see that the kind of surfaces that he gets in the semi-final. But yeah, man, he would want to be nowhere else in the world other than Wankhede as of now, because given his incredible record at that ground.
Yeah, very true. And hopefully, Joss Butler can find his mojo and rhythm back. Too good of a player, man, to be going through this sort of a run itself. But again, Anush, let's chronologically look at this match itself. When you look at New Zealand, they chose to bat first again on this R Premadasa surface, right? Do you think setting a total actually felt like a safer option for them? And just what do you make of the toss decision itself?
Yeah, no, see, as I said some time ago, you never you always take that chance. Hello.
Yeah, Anush, you always take that chance,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you always take that chance of putting runs on the board if you have a very high quality spin attack, or if you feel that the pitch is only going to get slower as the game progresses. So this is what South Africa did against India in Ahmedabad, and this is probably the only correct thing to do on Premadasa's surface. It is. I don't know about the other ground, SSC, but I'm only talking about Premadasa surface. I don't know about the Sinhalese Sports Club that much, but Premadasa Stadium, Colombo, you really have to take your chance. It is almost like yesterday's result is an outlier. Win the toss, win the match is what is happening in Sri Lanka for a long time on such pitches. So. Uh, I expected ICC to have balanced pitches, because ICC get the pitch like 1 month in advance of the tournament. So I thought that it won't be as Sri Lankan pitches are really, but it's good. It's like it has made 160 games competitive. And yeah, as you said, batting first was a no brainer. Like, uh, especially after the game they had against Sri Lanka, it was like just the same blueprint. Just get something on the board and then unleash your spinners and Matt Henry.
Yeah, very true. Because let's look at this, right? Again, of Tim Seifert and the Finn Allen opening stand itself. Do you think it sort of gave New Zealand that early momentum? Because at the end of the power play, they were 54 for no loss. Slightly underwhelming in that regard. But even England, right? When you look at how they probably missed a trick or two, they were like very predictably sticking to pace itself despite that limited assistance. How do you just make of that early passage of play?
Yeah, on such pitches where the batting gets tougher as the ball gets softer and the pitch gets slower, the only way you get out of jail is like having a decent power play. And that is what we saw from England batters also in the second innings, that despite being 2 for 2, Harry Brook coming down the ground trying to hit, so even they knew that the only chance they have in this game is to cash in on the power play. You cannot be 30 for 3 on this pitch in the power play and then hope that you will chase down 160. So you have to have at least close to 50 runs, which I think both the teams had. So yeah, the power play was very good. And after that, I really felt that once the spinners were there, Finn Allen and Seifert just wanted to take the game to them instead of, understanding that let's see how the pitch is gripping. We are already ahead of the game, by not losing any wickets in the power play. So yeah, they could have taken their time. If 54 for no loss could have been like 80 for no loss in 10 overs, like I'm saying 26 runs of the next 24 balls, that would have given like almost a run a ball, and like just understanding of how the pitch is. Then from 11th over you can, I understand new age T20 doesn't work like that and everything, but again, that is on pitches like Eden Gardens and Wankhede and some batting pitches like the red soil one that was there in Ahmedabad. Not on such pitches. Such pitches you have to strategically understand that okay, 160 is safe or 170 is safe, and then work towards that. So they didn't do that. They kept losing wickets. Too many wickets where batters are trying to clear the largest boundary and getting caught easily. So that again questions their tactical thinking, that when you have such good players of spin like Glenn Phillips and Rachin Ravindra, and instead of maneuvering the ball, why would you try to just use brute force, which is brute force is not their strength. And yeah, that is what I have to say. So yeah, they will also be uh, gutted. I still feel that they have enough to qualify to a semi-final, because Pakistan will have to uh, like play outrageously well to win by 65 runs or 13.1 overs, as people are saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely it is going to be a nervous time for them, and only they are themselves uh, the reason for that. They can only blame themselves.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can pull off something like that, in tonight's match. But here's where I think England brought in a very interesting change, right? Harry Brooks sort of maneuvered the entire strategy. You could see that heavy reliance on spin, becoming the turning point of the innings. That's where I think we can talk about Adil Rashid, right? His twin stumpings and sort of breaking New Zealand's rhythm. We talk about Glenn Phillips in a bit. But again, Anuj, just what do you make of that? Because you clearly see, right, New Zealand's middle order was struggling to, sort of shift gear against quality spin, and that could again, come to bite them back in the fag end of the tournament.
Let's see, this I would not single out New Zealand personally, that maneuvering against quality spin. The problem is in Sri Lankan pitches, that is how the template is. You have to attack the power play, you have to attack pace, and once spin comes, you have to take your time to understand what are your options. Like, for example, I personally felt that Mitchell Santner on this pitch would be just outrageous, and just it will be very difficult to. But you saw England realize that what options they have. He will bowl wide of the crease, so reverse sweep over third man, reverse sweep over third man. You got hit for at least three boundaries that way. So basically, what did they do? They gave themselves time and then they chose their options. इधर क्या हो रहा था कि when as you said, there's two stumpings of Adil Rashid. They were just slogs, man, trying to slog or trying to cut that ball by coming out of the crease, not understanding the pace of the pitch, not understanding, you know, what is required, trying to hit across the line. You never hit across the line when it is spinning this big. So, yeah, that is the thing about it. They and they had that head start to give themselves little time. This is why I feel that someone like a Kane Williamson would have been so crucial in this team. Someone like a Kane Williamson, especially if they knew that they are going to play their Super 8 games in Sri Lanka, since it was pre-seeded. Basically, they knew that. So could he have been a part of this tournament? It was. You just need someone to play sensibly here so that others can attack. And I don't get there. And I really feel that Daryl Mitchell is someone who can take that baton from Williamson ahead. So I don't get him batting at number six, number seven. He's not a finisher. He's your proper player of spin. If Chennai Super Kings pays you 14 crores, it means you are a really good player of spin. So uh, yeah, they could have used that tactic. Mitchell at three and uh, Phillips at four. I don't remember but they have Rachin also. So maybe Rachin at four and then make Phillips do the hard hitting down the ground. So you basically have your openers who will cash in the power play, and after you lose your wickets, you will have your two best players of spin who will maneuver over 7 to 10, so that at the halfway mark, then you can decide. Okay, at 10 overs we are 80 for one or 80 for two. So last 4 overs we had a little less runs, but at least we have understood what our options are against spin. Where can we hit? So now let's go and try for that. What they did was they tried to keep going with the same intensity of the power play, outside power play, and that is new age T20 batting, but this is not a new age T20 pitch. You have to keep on uh, recalibrating and reconsidering your decisions. That is what Harry Brook did. Once he realized that all pace in the power play is not working, he just decided to bunt it away and put 16 overs of spin. Means even the 20th over a spinner was bowling. So that shows that he read the conditions better than Santner, which I didn't expect from Santner, because uh, he's the same guy who destroyed India twice on such pitches in last year. So yeah, let's see. They again, as I said, they have themselves to blame.
Yeah, and here's where we can probably take a moment to talk about Glenn Phillips itself, right? The knock of 39 that he did end up getting. Anuj, you felt, was that like a stabilizing knock or one that sort of needed greater acceleration? Because at one point we even spoke about Daryl Mitchell, his slow stay at the crease itself, right? In ensuring that it was a par score innings. Because again, New Zealand was what, 123 for 3 after 14 overs. And then not being able to get past that 170 run mark must have hurt their prospects a little, right? With these knocks not really helping.
Yeah, as I said, uh, uh, like India realized in against Pakistan on the same ground, you get to a point where you realize that our start is too good now. Uh, you know, our start is too good to not cash in on it now. So as India realized that this is possibly a 160 pitch and got to 175, so New Zealand could have again, and they got there with smart batting. They didn't hit across the line or everything. Only Ishan Kishan was the exception because he continued batting on a different level. So as I said, you can give that freedom to Finn Allen and Tim Seifert, that just go for it. But once you were 66 for 2 in the eighth over, you had to regroup and understand, and that they did that. That is why they reached 120 for 2 in 13 overs, where like Phillips was like 21 of 10 balls. But then after that, he suddenly lost his hitting arc, you could say, or focused more on removing the cover of the ball by hitting so hard rather than taking singles, doubles, using the bigger pockets for the twos and threes maybe. So yeah, that is something England did really well in their batting. They focused on matchup batting. So matchup batting is really crucial. And yeah, then it depends, how you. It is a very subjective thing, like how you go for it.
Yeah, and I think to just sort of wrap up the segment on, like New Zealand's batting itself, probably England really need to be credited for reading the conditions so well, right? Their decision to bowl, almost, exclusively spin after that power play did completely stall the finish. At any point, it felt like, New Zealand were a good 10, 15 runs short on the surface. And even Syed going on to point out that New Zealand missed the trick somewhere in the middle of their innings. They could have easily scored a, okay, 180 plus seems a little
Yeah,
outlandish, but
definitely New Zealand missed the trick somewhere in the middle of their innings where they can score 180 plus. Yeah, definitely, because you know as I said, you need to have that realization that you have got a really good start. And now let's not be greedy and try to reach to 200 and then not even get anywhere else. So I think New Zealand had that greed yesterday that they could have like recalibrated and understood that 170, 180 is enough on this pitch. So that is something they failed to address.
yeah, and somehow they, did end up getting to 159 for 7. Due credit to the way England went about with their bowling itself, right? Will Jacks get again amongst. Okay, I think we'll have Anuj just rejoin us, but Will Jacks, being amongst the wickets, taking 2 wickets. Rehan Ahmed again, taking 2 wickets. I think he did really well, right, playing for England. And Liam Dawson as well, quietly doing his job of 1 for 32. As they say, right, New Zealand did huff and puff to 159 for 7. I think there was just like 3 extras that England did end up conceding. But let's talk about the run chase itself. Yeah, I think I'll probably take this comment before I get to that. Syed going on to add that Will Jacks has been a savior for England both with the bat and ball. 100% agreed, right? He's quite literally been the backbone for a lot of their wins, an MVP, so to say, that I think England would be really happy to have. I think in some of our earlier conversations, guys, we did talk about that, is Will Jacks batting at the right kind of position itself? But he's just still making the most of it, right? It already looks like a very top order, heavy sort of an England setup, but still him finding his place and doing his job diligently really helps. So, yeah, I mean, due credit on him to still carry on in spite of that. Yeah, I think Anuj has joined us back. Let me see if I can add him. Hey, Anuj, you are back
Yeah.
on. Hope you
Yeah.
can see us and hear us.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So yeah, Anuj, I was just talking about Will Jacks and how amazing he has been. Our comment also going on to mention that he's been a savior, right, for England with the bat and ball, especially with the ball, right, bowling 4 overs, a very miserly spell, giving away just 23 runs and pocketing 2 wickets. What has impressed you about Will Jacks and how he's been going?
The knowing Will Jacks and since he has been with MIA too. So I always was of this opinion that if in ODI cricket England are playing him at number 7, why the hell is Mumbai Indians obsessed with the fact that he has to bat in the power play? He's a top order batter and everything. And in that, what we are doing is the one Indian star that we retained in Tilak. His best spot is number 3. He has shown that already. Then he has been bunted down to number 5 because Surya has to play 4. And now you see the same thing is happening in the Indian team. Uh, so it's a good thing that he scored 44 of 14 against Zimbabwe, but I don't know how long this will last. So yeah, coming back to the this point, uh, Will Jacks, uh, he has been given a clear role by England that we are looking at you as the Moeen Ali replacement. You know, i- in a way where uh, what can we say? It is it is more to do with role clarity. I think role clarity is very crucial. They made it clear to him that okay, you are a top order batter. Moeen Ali was also a top order batter, but after a point, we decided to use him that way, and we are focusing on you. So if you see, he's not a that way a power hitter, but he's a very smart player. So smart players like this choose their moments, and his interview yesterday after the game showed it very clearly that how he plans to pick his moments. So he understood once Glenn Phillips was bowling, so it is spinning into him. So he has to target the long boundary. There is no other option. Either you target the long boundary and get caught at it, or it's over, or clear the boundary. And that is what he did. He cashed in on those 22 runs. But I still feel that anything above 15 runs in the final over would have been difficult.
Yeah,
So
some
yeah, yeah. So four player of the match is match awards. Like there is enough to tell you why he's doing really well.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. And I think even Palash had gone on to mention in our chat that Will Jacks has massively improved his power game. That six on the longest boundary of the ground, I think against Phillips' ball was a crazy shot. I think Mumbai Indians should use him as a finisher over Sherfane Rutherford. Interesting times. We'll have to see how that eventually does end up playing out. But Anuj, let's move on to the next segment of our conversation itself, right? About England's run chase. Now, here's this, a lot of things to talk about. Two for two inside the very first two overs, right? Anuj, for you, did you feel that hey, the chase is effectively over at this stage? We've seen enough and more patterns of teams, just losing their top order batters early and then it percolating to the rest of the team itself. Matt Henry, right? He has just been revolutionary, I think, with the new ball. Exposed England's fragile top order and just doing things he's so good at.
Yeah, ever since the 2023 World Cup, Henry has been superb. And once he has taken that baton from Saudi and bowled really well. That now he is the premier pacer for New Zealand, and he is really living up to that expectation. What happens is, when you are chasing 160 on a pitch that is turning, and you have to cash in on the power play, and when that is the case and suddenly something happens that two for two, so now what to do? So England were really at that point. I thought it's over. Pakistan should really begin packing their bags. uh, it was that bad. But yeah, see, uh, credit where it's due. Credit to Harry Brook and Brendan McCullum for understanding that the game is already gone if we don't win the next 4 overs. Okay, so what was 9 for 2 after 2 overs, 8 for 2 after 2 overs became 48 for 2 after 6 overs. So the next 4 overs they still managed to get 40 runs. So that kept them. I won't say that got them ahead of the game. That just kept them relevant. So Harry Brooks knock, although he got out after that, but it was really crucial. So yeah, this is uh, the right use of tactics. Tactics. He knew that his role, Harry Brooks' role, was to break the game open again, and he got out, but he did that, and then left it to Banton, who did his role well.
Yeah, because just continuing our discussion about England's, batting side of things itself, you did talk about, Harry Brook and his knock. But again, Anuj, how crucial was that Brook and Barton partnership in just calming the chase, right, after that early chaos? You could see Harry Brook, his aggressive intent really did help reset the momentum. That sort of ensured, right, when Tom Banton coming in later on, scoring that 33, which I think was like a very underrated innings itself, just helped make things stable for a while.
Yeah, and I think they used their middle order really well. That they ensured that every time there is a left and right hand combination to access the smaller boundary. So I think that was very crucial. And I personally, in a long time, have never seen Santner getting neutralized like this. So kudos to them. First 3 overs you can say that okay, he was getting the left handers were playing the matchup, but the last over of his, he had two right handers, and I was very confident in Santner's ability to maybe suddenly just give 4 or 5 runs in the over, pick a wicket, and then give 15-16 to Henry. But then that didn't happen. So yeah, everybody played their role really well. Banton also, like Will Jacks, a natural opener, been told to play this role. So, and it's really good. It's refreshing to see that a team that is notoriously guilty of not being able to play spin well, they keep on hearing that. Uh, so then, to for them to you know plan and strategize and adapt, it was really fun. What a match for a neutral, definitely.
Yeah, Anuj agreed with you there. And when you felt like, England was in complete control and cruising, we should take a moment to talk about New Zealand's bowling, right? Rachin Ravindra, his 3 for 19. I think that spell briefly put New Zealand, in complete control. And now here's where did you feel like, Santner should have probably attacked aggressively. England was already 5 down. And somewhere New Zealand was missing that wicket taking option, especially during the middle overs.
Uh, I won't say didn't trust, but uh, the situation was such that if one of your senior bowlers Ish Sodhi gives 25 runs in 2 overs, then definitely like you are hesitant towards going for him again. Uh, but as I said, in the 18th over, if you wanted to bowl a spinner, so there that was no longer it was not a difficult choice to make between Sodhi and Phillips. It had to be Sodhi because you had two right-handers trying to slog to the longer boundary. So you needed someone who turns away from that. So yeah, things could have been different for New Zealand, but I won't say they didn't trust their spinners. Like they did trust, but yeah, someone else like a McConchy could have perhaps bowled more. He just bowled 1 over in the power play, went for 13 runs. So when the likes of Bethel and Sam Curran were playing, and instead of uh, Santner bowling to him, could have held back Santner's one more over and given McConchy that over so that he turns the ball away from the left-handers. Yeah, that subtle things, but I still think that till 17th over, New Zealand did everything well. So I feel that the blunder was just giving Phillips the 18th over. Yeah, that was the blunder.
Yeah, to call it a very clinical England win would be unfair, right? Because at one stage they needed 43 of those 18 balls. But what do you think like mentally shifted in the game? You did briefly allude to how Glenn Phillips and that final over, just turned out to be the true turning point in that run chase itself. Do you think New Zealand sort of just panicked tactically at the death, and England was just elite with their finishing game thanks to Will Jacks and Rehan Ahmed?
Yeah, and I think what might have uh, pushed that confidence for Mitchell Santner was that he took Glenn Phillips took Harry Brooks' wicket. So, like a right arm off spinner taking right hander's wicket. And sometimes we say matchups are overrated and all. So, it is true for sometimes, but sometimes when you look at the ground dimensions and when you look at the ball is turning so much, so you have to understand that you cannot give a positive matchup on the platter. Like if Sodi also had bowled all his 4 overs, and you had to choose between a fast bowler and Phillips, I would have choose Phillips because it is turning. So, but you had that option of Sodi, and 2 overs 25. Okay, it's not 2 overs 46 like Shivam Dubey or anything like that. It's still 2 overs 25. It is repairable. So yeah, Santner didn't trust him enough, and what they were, as I said sometimes earlier, what they were trying in the last over, slower bouncers and trying to hit to the leg side. You could have done that in the 18th over with Henry. So yeah, uh, yeah, it was a brain fade moment for New Zealand. But yeah, I think Santner took responsibility for that after the game. So yeah, let's see what happens today.
Yeah, interesting times in that sense. And I think in our comments too, we had Syed going on to point out that Rehan Ahmed comes as England's relief man, right? I mean, he played such a fearless cameo, right? With the ball as well, pocketed 2 wickets and coming in here and scoring those crucial runs. I mean, what a way, right, to have your World Cup debut and to star across both departments?
Yeah, the as Will Jack said in that interview, the presence of mind was really crucial there. That there is an off spinner bowling, and I know it is the longer side, but it is turning into us. So we have to hit through the line. We have to back ourselves. So two sixes and two fours in that over really broke the back of the game.
Yeah, very true. And almost as we reach the end of our discussion as well, Anuj, do you have any last and final thoughts, of this match itself? Because momentum-wise, I think this victory has given us enough reasons to, take England as genuine, semi-final threats. And just how do you see it play out for them?
Yeah, yeah. See, I always feel that it's the other way around. Like what how India proved that if you can win on a pitch that is slow, you have different gears to you. You will be uh, even better on the other side of the things. That is what you say when the pitch is a flat one. But if you're good on a flat pitch, doesn't necessarily mean that you are good on the slower pitch. So England have done the hard work. They have done the hard job. Now it is uh, up to them to reap the benefits in India, I would say. So they will start as favorites even if India qualify, because the pitch they will like the pitch, they will like everything. But yeah, let's see. The last time India met England in Wankhede, we won by 150 runs. So you never know.
Yeah, and one last thing, Anuj, of tonight's match itself, right? We have the subcontinent giants taking on each other, Sri Lanka versus Pakistan. A lot at stake for Pakistan, right? Who would possibly want to get a win in a certain fashion to, sort of book their place in the semi-finals, nudge out New Zealand in their group. Do you see it realistically happen, or do you think Sri Lanka is still playing for a lot of pride amidst all of the hate that their fans have been putting on the cricketers themselves? Like, how do you see this match play out?
Yeah, see, definitely Palikele is a better batting pitch than Colombo. So like I am not expecting uh, Sri Lanka to give the net run rate that Pakistan require. So yeah, but again, as yesterday's match showed, you never know. You never know. It's on the day who turns up, and if Pakistan make the right changes in their team, like dropping Babar Azam or bringing Abrar, bringing that mystery spin, you never know. But yeah, from Sri Lanka's point of view, it is very clear that they are hurting. Uh, they comfortably beat India 2-0 in that ODI series at home. So yeah, they take pride in winning at home at least. So they will turn up. They will be hurting. There are so many ex-cricketers who have spoken about this. And Shanaka was in his press conference. He was brave to speak about mental health and how it is hurting them. So yeah, could be anger. It could be uh, pride. It could be wanting to prove a point to the fans who are doubting us or anything like that, or do it for the fans. Either way, yeah, they will have to turn up. There is no other option for them, because it is sometimes playing for pride is more important than playing for the trophy. So it depends like how they will turn up. But yeah, when somehow they have to turn up, let's see what happens. You never know with Sri Lanka. They can score 180, they can score 80. Anything can happen.
Yeah, they clearly have given us enough reasons to suspect them as this team that can either go big or just go home. In this case, one would hope that there's still a lot on offer. It's not a dead rubber. They're playing for pride, but in the case of Pakistan, right, they will be looking to pull off something really special. But yeah, folks, that pretty much does conclude our discussion as well. First things first, Anuj, thank you so much for joining me today. We still have you for some other discussions, so really looking forward to that. To all the folks who joined us in the live chat, thank you so much. Here's hoping you continue joining us through the rest of this, World Cup. We have the Australia-India women's, series going on as well. So, please keep letting us know what you make of it. For those of you who are catching the stream later, again, let us know in the chat what you made of this discussion. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, do everything. But yeah, folks, until next time, stay safe, take care. Let's keep enjoying the cricket. Cheers.